Welcome to lecture number 25 for ECE 320 Electronics 1, 555 timers. Now, if you want to build your own electronic system, you can use a microprocessor. Personally, that's how I would do it. I would use something like a PIC microcontroller. With that, I can program it. I can program any frequency. I have analog inputs. I've got binary outputs. I can add a D to A chip, have an analog output. Makes it very, very versatile. You don't have to do that. You can actually do many things that a PIC processor can do without a microcontroller. A 555 timer has been around since 1972, and it's a way to build square wave at a variable frequency, pulse width modulation, triangle waves. I can use a 555 timer to build a voltage-controlled oscillator, like a Siren. I can build a temperature-controlled oscillator, or basically a sensor, have the frequency a function of temperature. I can build a one-shot. There's many other things I can do with the 555 timer. The nice thing about it is there is no microprocessor involved. It's all hardware, so there's no software to write, no programs to crash, no oscillators to fail. It's very, very versatile, very, very robust. And at this point in electronics, we can actually understand how they work. What a 555 timer consists of are three 5K resistors, hence the name 555 timer. An NPN transistor that acts as a switch. When Q bar goes high, it shorts discharge to ground. It's got two comparators where I can set or clear an SR flip-flop. And that's pretty much it. With that, I can do different applications. So what I'd like to do is go through a couple examples of what you can do with a 555 timer. Now the input pins are basically got ground and power, of course. Discharge typically goes to a capacitor. That's when I want to discharge a capacitor. Trigger, this will set the output when trigger is less than 2 volts. Threshold, this will clear the output when threshold is more than 4 volts. The control voltage lets me change the threshold voltage if I want. And the output, of course, is the output. So a couple examples. A pretty common basic circuit for a 555 timer is an oscillator. This will output a triangle wave or a square wave. What happens is I've got 6 volts charging up a capacitor through R1 and R2. So what happens is the voltage starts out at 0 volts and then charges up to 6 volts. As soon as it gets to 4 volts, right here, that hits the threshold and clears the output. As soon as the output clears, discharge turns on, and I start discharging the capacitor through a 10K resistor. So I'm charging through a 20K resistor, R1 and R2, discharging through 10K, charge through 20K, discharge through 10K, and so on. And note where I switch, I start discharging as soon as the output hits 4 volts. That would be threshold. And I start charging as soon as I get to 2 volts. That's when trigger kicks in. And that's your SR flip-flop where I set, clear, set, clear, set, clear. And the output, of course, then is a square wave. This is a square wave that's about 33% duty cycle. The reason for that is I'm charging through 2 resistors, discharging through 1. To calculate the times, the exponential rise, well, let's take this one, it's actually easier. If I start at 4 volts, I'm going to discharge down to 0 volts as e to the minus t over RC. The time it takes to discharge down to 2 volts will be 4 e to the minus t over RC. Solving, if I have 1 microfarad and 20K, the 2 resistors in series, you see 13.9 milliseconds. That's how long this is. The other time is when I go through a 10K resistor, change R1 and R2 to 10K and solve, I get 6.9 milliseconds. So it's 6.9 milliseconds off, 13.9 milliseconds on. And I can do that instead of the charge-discharge time, just redefine 0, make this 0 and that 6, and I'm discharging down to 0, or here I'm discharging down to 0 the other way. So it's the same equation, works for both. A slightly improved version is you add a diode. What this diode does is when I charge, I'm charging through R1 and the diode bypasses R2. When I discharge through R2 and the diode's reverse biased, so it has no effect. With that, I can change the on time by changing R1. I can change the off time, discharge time, by changing R2. With those two, I can make the duty cycle whatever I want. I can make the on time, off time, longer, shorter, your pick. Third circuit, I can build a sawtooth generator. This is also an oscillator. If I take that diode and flip it, I'm now going to charge through R1 and R2 in series. When I discharge through the diode. That very quickly discharges it down to 0.7 volts. What I wind up then is the charging time is basically your R1 plus R2 is R, the total R. There's your C. And it's the time to charge from, in this case, it's about 0.9 volts. That's the 0.7 plus 0.2 volts inside here. There's a transistor on the inside that I use to discharge. When you saturate a transistor, VC is about 0.2 volts. So it discharges down to about 0.9 volts, the orange line, then charges up to 4, discharge down to 0.9, charges up to 4. So by finding the time it takes to charge up from 0.9 to 4, I can calculate the frequency. Oh, one other thing to note. Once to output, or the output with this case, the output is the blue line. There's these pulses. That pulse would probably go to a T flip-flop. Every time I get a pulse, I toggle the output. That'll give you a square wave. High, low, high, low. Another circuit. I can build a voltage-controlled oscillator. If I take that control input, and going back to the schematics, what the control input does, that changes the threshold voltage. By moving that up and down, I can change how long it charges and discharges. So by making this a sine wave centered at 3 volts going plus or minus 1, when this is 3 volts, it takes longer to charge from 0.9 up to 3. It takes less time to charge from 0.9 up to 2. So the frequency that I get out is related to voltage. That's the voltage-controlled oscillator. Again, take the output, have that run to a T flip-flop, and I'll get a square wave out. Another example, I can build a Siren. This is a combination of circuits. The first circuit outputs a triangle wave. That's the charging and discharging on the capacitor. Again, the output will be a square wave. Capacitor will be a triangle wave. The triangle wave is what I want in this case, because I want a siren to go going up and down like that. So this outputs the triangle wave. There's the buffer. That goes to the control input. This is the voltage controlled oscillator. Put those two together and I get this. As I charge up, as the voltage goes up, the frequency goes down, then frequency goes up, frequency goes down, and you have a variable frequency. That's some of the things you can do with 555 timers. There's quite a few others. A good reference for where to get more information on 555 timers, if you go to electronic tutorials, under waveform generators, and they have quite a few tutorials on 555 timers, various things you can do with them. You can build an oscillator, an improved 50% duty cycle oscillator. That's one we already looked at. This kind of offsets it so that you have a 0.7 volt diode through here, another 0.7 volt through diode through there for consistency. Oscillator where you can vary the two frequencies, the high side and low side. Circuit for a pulse width modulation that can be used to drive a motor. Here's your transistor switch. By varying the duty cycle, I can vary the motor from full off to full on, and the voltage somewhere controls the pulse width. some other circuits. I can build a voltage doubler with a pipe timer, a voltage tripler, voltage quadrupler, and these are DC to DC converters. I can invert the voltage and double it. Build a DC to AC converter. And just various things. Basically, pipes are pretty useful. You don't have to use a microprocessor to do things. Some you can do without a processor, like a pipe. And again, the electronic tutorials gives a very good reference for this class as well as other classes in electrical engineering. So that's lecture number 25 for ECE 320, Electronics 1.